In the World Cup last year, Australia beat Korea 4-2, also in a semi-final. National anthems. With Spain, 2 apiece. The goal scorers were Jang for a penalty corner and Nam Lee. Australia, their 2 goals scored by Russell Ford and Travis Brooks. Brooks not in the squad tonight. He's taking a rest along with Luke Dorner. The Australians being led today not by Brent Livermore in fact, but by Bevan George. Number 15 is wearing the captain's armband. Stephen Lambert starting in goals. Daniel McPherson may well play the second half. And Matthew Wells back in the lineup after being rested last night. So a very, very strong combination out there. And Australia certainly has had the wood over Korea in their more recent meetings. Their last Champions Trophy meeting was way back in 2002. Korea beat Australia in a pool game by 3-2. Australia won the 5th and 6th playoff by 3-0. Look for their captain, Jong Seo. Nam Lee, number 6, to do a bit of ball carrying. And the power striker on penalty corners, Jang. There he is with the headband, or with the bandana. Australia coached by Barry Dancer. And his counterpart tonight in the Korean dugout is Myung-Jun Cho. Will be blowing the whistle at the left-hand end of the screen. And his counterpart tonight is Gary Simmons from South Africa. Just about ready to go. Australia, of course, has won this tournament, the Champions Trophy, on 8 occasions. One of only 3 teams to hold that record. They share the record with Germany and the Netherlands. There's another guy back in the lineup tonight after being rested last night, Matthew Naylor. So it looks like we're just about ready to get underway. Goalkeepers checking with the umpires. Timekeepers. We're underway in this game. Game 4 on day 2. Australia versus Korea. Australia in their traditional green and gold, attacking the screen, the goal to the right of screen. And joining me in commentary again is Rick Charlesworth. And Rick, Korea can take it up to just about any team in the world on their day.
They're a bit enigmatic, mainly at the main tournaments. They're usually very, very competitive. They've been very good. They've been the semi-finals in 3 of the last 4 major competitions, Olympics and World Cups. Sometimes in between they seem to falter, but they're getting their best lineup together. I saw them recently play against New Zealand, and there's 3 or 4 additions in this group that weren't in New Zealand, and between them they've got about 500 caps. So this is a more experienced team. This is probably about their best lineup.
Kyung Jin there with the headband, number 18, winning the free hit for Korea just outside the circle. Standing up in defence for Australia as Brent Livermore rolls it off to Jamie Dwyer, in turn to Andrew Smith, stopped at the sideline by Byung Kim, playing his 50th game tonight for Korea. There he is. Bevan George with the captain's armband for Australia tonight, a role that's pretty well shared between George, Matthew Wells, Brent Livermore, Jamie Dwyer these days.
Well, I think that acknowledges the fact that you need a critical mass of leaders in your team if you're going to have a quality team. Australia's got a terrific team, high quality players all around the field, lots of depth, good bench, and they would be expected to win tonight, but it won't be easy. And the Koreans are capable of almost anything. Certainly semi-finalists in the last World Cup. They showed their quality. The last outing, 6-2, was a bit of a disappointing one, I think, for them.
It's Russell Ford here for Australia. Looks for support behind him, finds it in the very large form of Andrew Smith. Eglinton got the stick down. The ball falls to Ford again at the baseline, looking for the penalty corner. Dong Ko called into action. No real power on it. It was a cross more than a shot. Goalkeeper pads it away for a corner.
He's a towering figure, Ko, isn't he? He's a big man.
But agile as well.
Oh, yeah.
Really agile.
You need to be if you're going to be a good goalkeeper. And size can be useful, and he's got it.
Russell Ford. Ball called back for a corner. No, for a free hit at the side for Korea.
The Australians, well, it's cooler now, of course. They've got a press on here. They're not going to allow the Koreans to get out easily. They'll sit under this and they'll win it back. Dwyer, been playing in sort of left midfield for the last period. Seems to have made that his position.
I suspect he could play just about anywhere he wanted to, couldn't he?
I think so, but that's where he's been used. Of course, the loss of Elder causes Barry Dancer to find someone else to play at left midfield. Elder has been and was an outstanding player for Australia. Probably most would have thought he might have continued to Beijing, but...
And the backup in that position, I guess, is Liam de Young, isn't it?
Well, there's a range of alternatives. I think you've got young Ockenden. There's a range of other possibilities.
Brent Livermore back to Matthew Wells.
There's flexibility and versatility in this Australian team. There needs to be these days. Hockey players have to be able to play right, left, centre, defend and attack. They've got to have all of it.
Butler, cut-through pass, finds Livermore on the right.
And there's
Bevan George.
There's an example. Bevan George is right up there in the corner in attack. Now we'll have to run back.
Seo, Chong Seo, tosses it forward, looking for territory, finds it.
They are enigmatic, the Koreans. They're energetic, they're quick, they get around the field. Sometimes they just don't seem to be there. They had a 7-2 loss to India in the final of the Asia Cup. Really, the fact that they lost to India perhaps not a surprise, because India often play well against them, but the magnitude of that loss was the thing that surprised many.
Knowles couldn't get it through. Cut out by Yi. Chong Seo dispossessed by Wells. Beautifully done. Smith. Ford kicked it. Not seen, was it? Yes, it was. Whistle came late, but it came nonetheless.
Jinder Kumar picked that up. He was on the other side of the field, and the umpires need to help one another. Simmons probably couldn't see it, but Kumar did. Now the Australians back in the half court.
This is day O. Chung Lee. Is Kim, or Kyung Jin it is actually. Eglinton, monstered, gets the ball to Ford cleverly over the top.
Eglinton had to stay away. He'd gone for that ball, would have been blown as dangerous.
Young Kim.
We'll see a lot of this. We'll see a lot of the ball. Koreans playing it in their own half. No pressure, nice and safe. Australians just retreating.
Ball had gone over the side. Dwyer. Eglinton. Closed down quickly by Jin. Quickly but not legally. Kyung Jin came in a little hard. Ball taken quickly. Struggling to clear.
Well, Naylor was just lurking there right close to goals. Nearly had a chance.
This is Seo, the captain for Korea. Makes his way into the circle. It was on target. Lambert got the pad out. Good break.
Well, he ran fast. And here he comes into the circle. He hit it hard. Lambert just got enough on it. Flecked it round the post. Australia gets it back. Pretty good effort by So. He was being chased, and it's having to do it at speed that's hard. He got a good shot on the goal, but Lambert was the equal of it. He was balanced and ready.
Great ball out to Knowles from Butler. Really opens up the field of play. Ford slips it back in for Knowles. Wasn't there. Day-O was. Nathan Eglinton. Closed down again by O. Bevan George sweeps it back. Wells, Livermore back to Wells. There's Butler on his left, or George on his right.
And half of the field filled with Koreans. Australia probing. Nothing obvious.
No, Korea
happy to play it.
Just to sag back. Namlee scored in the 2-2 draw with Spain last night. Namlee, Livermore, Matty Naylor, Eglinton found a foot, did he? Well, looked like he did. No appeal. Sam Kim. Wunyo, number 20, has come on into the midfield. Namlee, he's quick. Yo, dispossessed.
Smith took it quickly, but didn't find his teammate, so the Koreans get it back again. One of the issues for Australia is finding the finishing power. They've lost McCann. Victory's no longer on the scene. And with Dwyer moving into the midfield, perhaps they don't have the quality at the front. That's one of the issues I'm sure Barry Dancer was working very hard on. That's why Ford is here. Naylor playing at the front. Smith getting a go. But it's that striking quality. Brooks, of course, not on the field today. He provides a bit of that. Very often it's the run from behind. It's people like Knowles who make the penetrations. Lovely pass by Ford. Now Dwyer.
Works his way towards the circle, shadowed by Kim. Gets it across again. Loose ball. Cracked towards the goal by Naylor. Rolls onto a foot. Australia earn the first penalty corner of the game.
Well, there's Dwyer. He pushes it. It goes back. Naylor hits it hard. Saved by Korean, but just rolled onto his foot.
Chu Kim it was.
In front of the goalkeepers he was. Very brave.
Now, the Australians haven't had a great record with penalty corners at this venue. None from 8 in their win over Malaysia, and none from about 25 in the Azlan Shah.
Yeah, an extraordinary tournament. They didn't score a penalty corner, but maybe that's going to change. Naylor's on the field. He will probably be the option. Wells for the hit. Naylor to flick.
Naylor straight at the goalkeeper. Not finished off. Bevan George got the shot in on the reverse, went wide.
Always a goal poacher, Bevan. He likes being there. There's the work. Falls to Bevan, hit it wide. World Cup 2002 on the other ground here, he scored his first goal for Australia. A terrific effort, a 1-0 victory over England. He ran right from the back to the front and ended up finishing diving to score in the circle. It was his first goal in his 100th match.
Yes, and he followed that up with one remarkably similar one in the 2002 Commonwealth Games in Manchester against Bermuda, of all countries.
I think the one against England, the World Cup, he'll remember forever, though. The first one's a special one.
Well, of course, had he not scored against Bermuda, apart from the goalkeeper, he would have been the only one who didn't. And the Australians going through their bench. Ockenden on there now at the front.
the young. And they'll continue to do that throughout the game. It's hot, even though it's late at night.
Seung Lee at the back for Korea. Chu Kim open on the right. They keep it left. Song Kang, strong over the ball. Umpire Satinder Kumar not happy. Just a little bit going on off the ball. Song Kang. To Lee. Seung Lee goes back to O. Chu.
This could go on all day. They're in no hurry. Lots of movement up ahead. Found one.
Kang. Australian ball. Koreans not 5 metres from the free hit. Australia gets the advance. Breaking into the circle was Ockenden. Free hit blind before he got a hold of the ball. So Australia's free hit just outside, close to the baseline.
Not happy about that. That was a great chance.
Away come the Koreans through Seo.
They run fast. Too many tacklers there.
Kang stick checked, and this time there's going to be a green card from Satinder Kumar for, who's it going to be?
Butler.
It's going to be Dean Butler, who wasn't the offender on the last tackle, but the umpire deciding to put his stamp on the game. No more untidy tackles.
They do get bossy, umpires, don't they? There's the chase, and there's the... yes, he came from behind. Butler touched his stick. Mind you, the ball had gone.
Oh, Kang once again. Hyo Yu over the ball. Jang looking like he's just come out of hospital with a bandage on his head, bandage on his arm. One on the right elbow as a support, and the one on his head is to keep his hair out of his eyes. And he strikes a very mean penalty corner. Jang.
And there's one of those passes.
Taking an indication of the power he gets, doesn't it? And lead dispossessed.
Tackle by Knowles.
Liam de Jong has some pace, this man. Ford, timely tackle. That came from Jong Cha. David Guest on for Australia. Evan George. Change of direction, did it neatly. Matty Wells, no pressure on him. Shouldn't have said that, should I?
Yeah, he just didn't find Knowles. Knowles expecting it a little bit flatter, but Wells looking for the penetrating pass. And Australia fall back to the half. A couple of new Koreans come onto the field, fresh, and Korea takes their time.
Jung Kim on at the left midfield, number 4. A late bloomer in terms of international hockey, 28 years of age, playing just his first international tournament. Actually, I lie, it's his second. He played the Asia Games, the Asia Cup. Jang, no pressure on him. Pressure on Kim, dispossessed. Good enough to get it back. Kim Chiu. Miss Q. Jang did okay, got past Ockenden. And then slipped it for Kang. A little too quickly, a little too high.
He makes his way back. Koreans reorganise themselves. Really a lot of cat and mouse, not much action so far.
Fairly rugged challenge by Kang. De Young. Schubert, Grant Schubert on, bundled off the ball by Chu Kim.
Here's the hard bit, getting into the circle. Covered by Yo.
Seo takes on Robbie Hammond, finds his feet. Literally, Robbie Hammond started on the bench tonight, the Queenslander.
Well, an exaggerated movement there by the Korean, wins him a free hit. Guess just coming up behind him.
Jang. Cha.
Well, a little bit of goal front action for the Australians. And one good shot for Korea. Not much to show for the first 20 minutes.
Kang. Nobody there.
And a fair bit of that. You know, these teams know each other pretty well. They pressure each other. Sometimes it's difficult to finish, especially when it comes to coming into the circle. Young. Well played.
Some persistence by Nam Lee. Eventually, De Young gets the free hit. Hammond perhaps a little too easy or too early with the hit.
You want to take it quickly, but here's a bit of a press from Australia now. Now they'll try and force a turnover back here. The Koreans have come out.
Chu Kim, only as far as Matty Wells' foot.
He made the trap, but just bounced back onto his foot. Australia not as crisp as they can be. They're not in the top form. They've just had a recent series with New Zealand, which was 3 draws. So I think that indicates they're not at the top of their game at the moment. But now is not the time, of course.
That was a New Zealand team without Hayden Shaw and a couple of other regular starters.
Yeah, and that New Zealand team recently played a series against Korea, and it was one win to New Zealand, 2 to Korea, so it was a pretty close series too. So there's not much between all of these teams. A lot of depth in the competition, and that's reflected in the fact that there's real fight for the last 3 Olympic spots. Both these teams are there, they don't have to worry.
Andrew Smith to Rob Hammond in a little bit of space now. Hammond a chance to run at the defence, finds Andrew Smith again, slips the first defender, puts the cross in, and Liam De Young just couldn't bring it down. Now perhaps a chance. Shot came in from Eglinton. No decision.
Well, Eglinton would have liked to have a better shot than that. I think he was perhaps a bit unsure whether to pass or shoot, and we got a bit of either.
Kang getting himself into trouble, loses the ball. It's recovered though for Korea by Woon Yo, only as far as Knowles. Eventually a chance to relieve for Kyung Jin. Works with the free hit, wins it, has a word to Robbie Hammond.
Oh, Robbie Hammond, one of those red-headed feisty types. He's having a word with Satinder Kumar. He's had a bad year with some injuries. You can notice the GPS there he's wearing under his T-shirt.
Now, the umpires have conferred about that incident. They're going to make them shake hands, are they? Yes, they are. Best thing you can do. Robbie Hammond and Kyung Jin get on with the game after that. It's far better than 2 green cards, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that sometimes the handshake looks a bit meaningless, but probably the best outcome. Certainly there was nothing in it, really.
Depends how hard you squeeze, really.
And this isn't the most attractive part of the hockey match, just Koreans playing the ball around at the back. Australia waiting on the half line. Now they come forward. Oh no, too risky. Back we go. Whoops. And sometimes hard for those behind or those at home to understand what's going on here, but Australians are just waiting on the half line.
Yeah.
And we've already had 15 passes. Oh no, we're going across it. Here we are.
Finally they break forward. A little untidy at the back, but tied it up in the end by Dean Butler. Nam Lee and Hugh Yo. This is Yo. Jang. Only as far as Nathan Eglinton.
And he's quick with the ball, Eglinton. Well tackled though.
Yeah, trailed the stick. Gives away the free hit.
And Australia, not crisp really, still not at their best. But the difficulty, of course, for any opponent of Australia is even not at their best. They're a formidable unit with quality all around the field. And they're always difficult to beat, always.
Jang. Again, they throw it around the back. It's because Australia is putting up a pretty solid formation. There you go, you can see it there. The Australians have covered just about every gap.
There's lots of Australians waiting on the half line, and they're looking to penetrate. We can see one on the left there. No, we don't want to go for that.
And that's exactly what you were talking about. It's hard to understand this when you're looking at it from the side. When you look at it from this angle, you're seeing what the players are seeing. Now they look for it, and again, the Australians just holding that formation have forced the turnover.
And probably a bit more definition in the pass would have worked there.
Korea go forward through Kyung Jin. First time touch only as far as Eglinton's stick. Eddie Ockenden almost left it behind. Now has. Kim took it off him. Chung Kim runs into Eglinton. Wins the free hit. Nam Lee takes it quickly. Almost a chance for Jong Seo. Found himself in a bit of space, but overplayed the ball. Inside 10 minutes to half-time, still no score. Australia have had more of the possession. Certainly had it in the Korean defensive circle more than the other way around.
Well, Korea really only have had one significant penetration.
Aaron Hopkins on there for Australia. Hoppy to his mates.
The Korean penetration, of course, was a break right from the middle of the field too. It wasn't really a substantial build-up, but here's a chance, perhaps.
Jang gets across the cover. The Young stays with him. Looks for the Young's foot and finds it. You wonder whether that should be a free hit sometimes, don't you?
Well, I suppose it has to be because if it hadn't hit the foot, it might have gone to one of their players. It's Barry Dancer. He likes to sit in the stand. Certainly get a much better look at it from up there. He would be sending messages to Colin Batch on the bench. This is the view he has. But down on the bench, you can just see lots of players running around fast in front of you and hear lots of noise. But what you do get on the bench, I think, sometimes is a sense of the action and the tempo and the temperament of the players. Better than you do in the grandstand.
No rush, no rush.
Jen, you heard the call of no rush for David Best. No rush to tackle.
And the Koreans will look to penetrate. They've only got 3 in the attacking circle, so they're well and truly outnumbered.
Chu Kim.
It's a pretty no-risk game, isn't it? They've only got 1 in the circle when they finally went for the pass, so the chances of finding him are pretty slim. Can Australia penetrate at the other end? It's not easy there either.
Australia making 4 substitutions in 1 hit. Jin once again. Again, an illustration of the lack of numbers they have forward. He was facing 5 Australians.
Well, there are 5 Koreans in their own half, and they're just waiting, and so it's 5 against 10. So pretty damned hard to get into the circle.
Ooh, dangerous ball, dangerously raised.
And they're trying to force things, create things, invent things, and you just can't do it at this level.
10-metre advance because the Koreans played the ball away.
I think Korea has to take a bit more risk. You have to sometimes take more risk to get a gain, and it's a pretty conservative game they're playing at the moment. Australia trying to do a bit more, but it's been quite uneventful. Nearly 30 minutes and hardly a decent chance. A couple of anxious moments for the Koreans in front of the goal, a few balls falling and maybe 1 or 2 half shots. Nothing really substantial. 1 break for the Koreans, and that's it for the half.
Dean Butler, who played that ball forward, will rack up his 200th game for Australia in this tournament. He's been a real quiet achiever, Dean Butler, the Queenslander. A terrific ambassador for hockey for his home state and for the country.
And I remember when he was a junior player for Australia, there was some people suggesting that he was a journeyman, but he's proven to be much more than that. He's played with real quality, real creativity too, and certainly one who has forged a very substantial career. Anyone who can play 200 games for their nation is an outstanding player, not just a very good one.
Kim, pursued by Ford, who wins it at the side. Kim hits it away, and that's the 2nd time in a couple of minutes that a Korean has hit the ball away, and Kim won't get away with anything less than at least a green card. And if they do it again, that's the signal. The next time you'll hit the sin bin, any of your teammates.
He just knocked it. He knocked it out of the ground, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's the 2nd time they've done it in about 2 minutes.
It's deliberate. Look,
yeah.
Watch him there. He does. He knocks it away, and it's naughty. He got the loud whistle and the green card,
yeah.
So that's the real sanction.
You know you're going to get a card when you get the loud whistle, don't you? But Smith mishit.
It probably reflects their attitude a little bit. They're not very adventurous here. Just 1 or 2 up the front, hoping for a breakaway.
This is Moon Kang. Well defended by Livermore. Outlet pass only as far as Chu Kim. Now the other Kang, Seong Kang, is possessed, and away comes Naylor. Ford. Naylor on the trail.
I just wanted to finish what I was saying about Butler. One of the things I think that's been special about his career is the fact that he often bobbed up in attack and made a goal and created a chance to score, as well as being really a very, very, very sound defender. And on the left side for Australia, they'll lose a substantial strength when he stops playing. They'll lose also that penetration that he gave them.
Jang cops a bundling by Matthew Naylor. The Koreans say, look, they hit the ball away. Bit of feeling out there between these two teams.
Well, yeah, and sometimes in a game like this where there really isn't much enterprise, there's a lot of frustration going on. Neither team willing to take the big risk or even a half risk. Certainly the Koreans very conservative. They're happy to keep doing this, and you wouldn't want to be paying for your ticket if this goes on for too much longer.
Touch in by Seo. Nobody there at all.
Of course, these teams met last year in the semi-final at the World Cup. It was a pretty close encounter. Australia just breaking away at the end, but for a long time it was a real cat and mouse affair similar to this. They know each other pretty well. They play each other quite often, and neither team wants to take a risk. Australians down there now. They'll try and press it in here. They've won it. Nowhere to go because there's a lot of Koreans there too. Semicircle there, and
Dwyer tried to hit it back, got nowhere. Kim. The captain, Seo. This time he's got support, but Hammond was there to see it away.
The numbers always in the defence. That's the way it's been going.
Hopkins, Livermore. Jamie Dwyer. Can he weave some magic? Well, he got close and got the shot away, saved by the goalkeeper, Ko. Well done. Ford tried to lay it back. Jang is there. Still it's kept in by Hammond this time. Dispossessed of his stick. Gets a free hit. Great work by Dwyer before.
Wonderful play by Dwyer, and it's a player like Dwyer who makes the difference. He made a chance from nothing.
Not sure what they were looking for there. Naylor was the target. Hammond getting energetic with his tackling now.
He's a wonderful skill by Dwyer here. He gets into the circle and he got the shot away there. He didn't think he had the chance. As he dived, he slapped it. And the goalkeeper was required to save it. Wonderful play. Not much happened this half, but there we saw just one wonderful little piece of skill which could have put Australia ahead.
Chu Kim. It's come off an Australian stick, so it's a corner. Bit generous with the angle there. Kang trying to take it further back just to open up the field of play. Kang once again. Too clever by half.
And another
fairly harsh challenge too. That time on Eglinton. It's gone unpunished. Wonder whether that's gone into the memory bank of the umpire.
Well, there's half a minute to go and Korea have decided it's half time.
And the Australians won't risk pushing forward to try to take it off them. You talk about teams being happy to go in at half-time at a certain score. I think they'll both be relieved, won't they?
Well, here's the go, though.
There's their time. No time. Time runs out. And so limited chances to each of these teams. The game played at a fairly high tempo once they got going, but a lot of time spent just slapping it around in defence. Bit of spirit out there. Maybe that'll turn into goals in the second half. At half-time, it's Australia 0, Korea 0.
At 0-0, that's what we've seen. One or two pieces of brilliance, and that's about it for the half.
35 minutes still to come after a 10-minute break here in Kuala Lumpur. It's 0-0 at half-time. At half-time, Jang at the back.
bit more aggressive Australia here, trying to trap the Koreans in, and they've got the interception. Well, unfortunately,
Russell Ford penalised for the stick check.
He lost his stick and in the tackle.
Long toss over the top. You heard the call from the bench. Let it run, which Bevan George was going to do in any case.
It's a pretty hopeful ball, wasn't it?
Dean Butler, who we spoke about at length in the first half, closing in on game number 200 for Australia. Butler. Dwyer, little jink forward this time. Ockenden wins the free hit.
Clever player, Ockenden, but just wanting a bit more time than perhaps you get sometimes. Playing at the front too is different for him.
Dwyer, beautiful drag to the left. Seamless move. Ockenden puts it across the face of goal, scrambled away by the Koreans, eventually out of the circle by Woon Yo.
A clever little lift there by Ockenden. Lovely lead up by Dwyer. Much better from Australia, and here they're pressing again. That's what they need to do if they want to break this game open.
Jong Cha.
There's no danger when they do it because the ball will just be pushed the other end and they can come back any time they like.
Dean Butler. Straight into Chu Kim.
The danger is when you lose it in that situation, as Butler did then, but they've recovered now.
Lee onto the feet of Dwyer. Loose ball. Eventually the whistle goes. Korean free hit. Woon Yo goes back to Jang. Lost control of that. Ran too far away from him.
And the Koreans happy to press in this situation too, when they think Australia are at a disadvantage. Australia can come out, but if they lose it, they're in trouble.
Kang. Yu. Kim Chu. Now Nam Lee. Well done by Wells. Dwyer gave it up. Woon Yo into the circle. Captain Seo couldn't get a powerful shot away. Butler's tackle pushed it back out of the circle. And eventually it goes through off the stick of Kang.
Not a bad effort there, the Koreans. A bit of life about what they were looking for. Yo in the middle makes... There's the go. Yo in the middle makes a bit of difference. That ball came up off his stick and hit him in the face, so no free.
And nobody there to deflect that.
But more enterprise than we saw perhaps in the whole of the first half.
Brent Livermore right at the back for Australia. Not something you see terribly often.
Yo's playing in the middle for the Koreans now. He's a real playmaker for them. Will he make a difference?
Dwyer found the foot. Should have had a free hit. No real advantage there. Maybe now. Ockenden forward. Penalty corner one. Well, it was messy back there. The Korean defence lost its formation.
And there's the pass back by Dwyer. Very well done. Came to him again. He picked it up again. Found a foot. Well played. And again, it's Jamie Dwyer. A little bit of magic making a difference.
Only the second penalty corner of the game. Both to Australia. One in the first half. And now this one. Matthew Naylor up there. Probably for the drag flick. Or perhaps Matthew Wells for the hit.
I think it'll probably be Naylor again, but if they knock it left, maybe Wells is there to hit. Dwyer, what is it? What is it about someone like Dwyer? Just the speed with which he does it, the quality of his movement, quickness, creates things.
Push out will come from Eglinton once the Korean defence is settled. Dwyer. Goalkeeper came out a little further, narrowed the angle right down. Now Kang streams forward with support. A great diving interception from Mark Knowles.
Well, the Australians were outnumbered on the break. There's the shot, saved, and the goalkeeper's clearance caused the breakaway. Knowles, when you're outnumbered there, you've got to be able to read the play. He read it well, stretched, dive, knocked it away. Well defended.
Chu Kim for Korea.
A burst of energy, and now we have a bit of a break. Take it easy.
Jang. High, long toss into the circle. Defender has to be given the benefit of the doubt.
Happy
In
to take
position.
it.
Yep, has to be allowed to bring the ball down and play it safely.
I think Butler was toying with the idea of running off with it and just couldn't see anything ahead, so he thought he'd go back. Good play.
Good ball swept through forward. Straight onto the stick of Jong Cha.
A nice little pass from Eglinton. Ford did very well, just the final finish wasn't quite there. And this is better in the second half. Man's chattering. And there's more happening on the field.
We've got the #1 ranked team in the world in Australia versus the #5 ranked team in the world in Korea. I'd expect it to be tight, and it is.
Both teams, of course, know that victory in this match can put them in a good position for later on in the week. A loss would be very dangerous.
Xiao. Dangerous ball. Almost cut Dean Butler in half. Dwyer goes for the toss over the top this time again. The defender should be allowed to play it, and is. Jang goes back. Jong Cha looks left, sees nobody there, goes right instead to Kim Chu. Wunyo. What got through? Kang now. Xiong Kang closes on the circle. Bevan George there got the stick down, did very well, the man they call Jethro.
And there's more life in this game now. More running, more enterprise being shown. Good ball.
Ockenden with some space, able to set something up here. Well, that won't help. Seo, Korea's captain.
Eddie just doesn't look confident. He probably could have taken someone on there. He tried earlier when he tried to take someone on earlier, perhaps when he should have passed, and that time passed when he should have backed himself.
Yo-Yu. Wunyo. Jong Cha. Chu. Closed down by Ockenden, finds Kang. Off the feet of Jamie Dwyer. Just in from the sideline. Free hit to Korea. Dangerous position here. Australia with 11 players back, in line with or behind the ball. Jang looks for the deflection. Well, it fell. And the man to whom it fell was Mun Kang.
Well, I think it came off an Australian stick up into him, and then tried to play it in. The goalkeeper had it covered anyway, but he was arguing that he should have got a corner. But I think the umpire said, well, you got the advantage. I don't think it would have been allowed.
Butler. Naylor dispossessed. Away come Korea. Play with the ball was Day-O.
Well, they call that shaving when the player comes into tackle like Dwyer did then, trying to take it away with the reverse stick. And he doesn't think it was a breach, but I think the umpire probably had it right. He did connect with the opponent's stick. Here he comes in there. He's hitting his stick. Sorry, I think it's a breach. Green card. Especially when you're running from behind, the umpire really has to sanction you, I think.
Jang, distinctive with the headgear and the arm guard. Lun Kang. Livermore coming away for Australia into the feet of Nam Lee, wins the free hit. Effortless trap and move straight on by Dwyer. Good cut inside as well. Has some pace going into the circle. Just pushed a little bit too hard. The final challenge by Chu Kim was a good one.
Well, Jamie Dwyer makes things happen. Look at this pull inside. He does well. He lifts it here, but just too far ahead. Still nearly got it back again. Great effort. Not the coordinated efforts that perhaps we'd like to see from Australia. That's better.
Smith. Andrew Smith. Ball was raised up off Char. Will be a free hit to Australia just outside the D. Taken quickly, deflected for a corner off the stick of Jang.
Took it quickly, hit it hard. Jang got his stick there, just enough.
Corner.
It's been much more enterprising this half. A few more risks being taken. Perhaps Australia's method was that they would press more in the second half and think they could sustain it for the whole game. There's a long ball. This could be dangerous.
Good run from Moon Kang. Seo was in the middle. Wants the free hit. Claims the stick was checked.
Well, he hit an Australian foot. I think that's what he's complaining about, and he was right. Lucky for Australia. It was a dangerous breakaway.
Ford's ball goes out over the sideline. Korea's defensive hit.
And there's an Australia up there. There's certainly much more enterprise about the way they're pressing at the front.
Sam Kim did well. Chu Kim. Seo left it behind.
An example of why the trap is so important. If you trapped that and spun, you would have been with a chance to score. Now it's going the other way.
Great trap out there by Russell Ford. Tackled by Jong Cha. Held up. Free hit to Australia.
Just a bit too far ahead of himself there. Oh, great chance.
Just wasn't trapped by Matthew Naylor.
He was in the right place. Just didn't stick for him. And this is the job for Australia. They've got to find the strikers. They've got to find the finishers. They've lost a couple. Ball got across. It was a hard one though. It was bouncing. You make that trap, you've got a goal. And people like Naylor and Ockenden being asked to play at the front, they're not naturally strikers. You've got to work harder for the ball perhaps when you play at the front than when you play in the midfield, and that takes some time to learn that. It can be learned, can develop it. It certainly isn't something that comes so easy to them.
Char. Jang, fairly casual back there. Nova sees it out over the sideline. Korean ball.
And if you chase and press together in a team, then you can cause lots of turnovers in that situation. The Koreans want to get out. They've made it quickly.
Good pick off by Dwyer. Beautifully done. Ford. Look for Dwyer again. Found the foot. Gets the advantage. And diving tackle by Chu.
And again, it was that man Dwyer. He just nipped in, made the interception, and he created something.
Patient possession by the Australians. If there's no gap there and no player unmarked, there's no point giving up the possession.
There's not quite enough action at the front, though, for mine. Looking up the field while all that was happening. A lot of people standing. And sometimes the player in the middle of the field's got to track sideways. There's Barry Dancer. He'd be having something to say. Of course, as the game goes on and time drifts, then any risk, any goal scored against can mean you're out of the match. So you become more cautious.
Here's Sam Kim. Couple up there in support. McPherson stopped it dead. Hammond back there to help out. Came off a Korean stick, 16-yard hit.
Pretty well read by McPherson. He got in front of the next defender. Here's the ball fired across. He was in front of the Korean defender. If he'd stayed on the line, that could have been very dangerous. Well read. And that's perhaps an old tenet of goalkeeping that has changed, because without offside, the goalkeeper has to, in that situation, sometimes do that.
A lot of shouting going on out there.
This is the business end of the game now. Halfway through the second half, still 0-0. It's been a dead game in the first half, but it's come to life in the second.
Now that's the right decision. Nam Lee was in position to receive the overhead, and he had to be allowed to play it safely. In that case, the benefit wasn't given to the defender. Quite right too. Kang bursting through, wants a penalty corner and gets it. The two umpires conferred. The umpires wear walkie-talkies, as you can see, in Gary Simmons' left ear. He was unsighted, but umpire Satinder Kumar gave him the word.
Well, here's the ball. He fires it, hits the foot. Now the other umpire could see it, but Simmons couldn't. They got it right. The Koreans have to be careful, though. They don't want to rush the umpire. Or if you touch the umpire, then you can be in real trouble.
Daniel McPherson with a job to do back there now.
Well, you'd have to say what he's had to have done so far. He's done well, but this is a big test.
They'll have seen the video of last night's game between Korea and Spain when Jang scored from one of these. And he's up there in the battery now, the man with the white bandana. A good trap. Jang puts it away. And that's exactly what he did against Spain. Beautifully taken. Beautifully taken.
Well, there wasn't much wrong with that, was there? There's the push out. Takes it. Top right hand corner. The goalkeeper diving, but unable to do it.
Perfect placement.
Oh, it was. The dilemma, of course, for the goalkeeper is they could go high to either side or low to either side. There's four options. It's damn hard to cover them all. And that was the perfect flick. Now Australia will take some risks. And we could see a very interesting last 10 minutes.
Chong Cha slips it out, misses Xiao. Xiao slaps his stick and says, "This is what you have to hit." Korea's coach, Myung Cho. One thing you do know about a Korean team, any Korean hockey team, is that they won't run out of legs.
Yes, they're very fit.
Hammond dispossessed by Jang, the goal scorer. Hyo Yu just holding possession out there, pursued by Aaron Hopkins. Sends the long ball forward for the skipper, Jong Seo. Slipped inside for Nam Lee. Dangerous player, this one, except when he pulls it onto his own foot, as he did then. Liam de Jong, can he spark something up here for Australia? Smith, forced to go back.
What's happening up ahead, that's the issue. That's what Hammond has to do. He has to run on angles. When he does so, something will open up ahead. He'll create something.
That was left deliberately by Eglinton, came off a Korean stick.
It's the movements of the other people that's critical too. There's Eglinton.
Strong over the ball, too strong on that occasion.
Shaking his head, and so are we. This is always interesting now. Australia pressing hard. Oh, Hammond just couldn't see it.
Chong Cha, Muonyo. Guest for Australia. Myung Cho, the Korean coach. Good ball. Schubert. Goalkeeper is there. Follow-up came from Liam de Jong and forces the penalty corner. Korea don't like it, but Satinder Kumar was right there.
Well, we could be in for a walkout. Here's the shot. Hit it hard. He makes the save.
It's under his pads. Well, penalty corner.
Well, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure Australia are in the position to play it. It's always in front of him. Bit of manhandling of the goalkeeper. It's 50-50. They've got to defend it now. They might not like it, but they have to defend it.
David Guest, shaping as perhaps the man to take the drag flick. Well, the Koreans soaked a few seconds off the clock there. More here.
Some Australians calling out time to the umpire.
Now he calls time, and he's warning the Koreans. This will be a formal warning. And, yep, green card, and that's for any defender who breaks again.
He'd look at home on a building site or a pirate ship, wouldn't he?
Clock will restart with 10 minutes 40 on the board. No, whistle hadn't gone.
These are tense moments. 10 minutes to go. Australians pressing. They're urgent now.
Now the clock starts. De Jong the push out. Guest. Just wide.
He got a good piece of it. There's the push out. And just wide. Ooh, not a bad effort, but you've got to be on the target.
So some work to do for the Kookaburras here if they're to sing their song at the end of this one. Chu Kim, strong over the ball again. Not trapped by Kyung Jin.
Good ball.
Eglinton played it a little too far in front of himself and then stick-checked Jang.
It's interesting, isn't it, how much you can create with a bit more urgency, though, and now we're seeing that the Australians really get to the circle a lot. Good play by Eglinton, just no one in position to finish, and perhaps we don't have that goal poacher still. Perhaps we don't have the person to finish off in front of the net.
Well, that's Grant Schubert, essentially, isn't it? Yeah, he's always done that.
He's on the field, but there was no one there then, and Eglinton always looked like he was going to get to that position. But the recent retirement, McCann, and then Dwyer moving into the midfield, and Victory no longer part of the scene. So there has been some losses there.
Poor option that time from Day-O. So they get it back, Korea. O. Yu. Nam Lee dispossessed. Good tackle from David Guest. Hockenden releases Hammond in the middle. Thought about going left. Opted not to. Now does. Good pick up from Liam de Jong. Made some ground. Works his way into the circle. Puts the cross in. And a fabulous interception by Woon Yo. Came from nowhere.
Well, he's the heart of their team in the midfield, and there he is defending on the goal line. Wonderful play here. De Jong did well, and Yo just got in front. Here's De Jong running, fires it across, and Yo running, touched it just over the back line. Can't understand what wasn't a long corner.
Kim Chiu. Nam Lee. Stick on stick with Butler. Butler wins the battle and the free hit. Schubert. Tough over the ball, Grant Schubert.
Well, real urgency about Australia now. Much quicker tempo and pace.
Knowles dispossessed by Char. Just on 7 minutes remaining on the clock. Still they attack Korea. That time Yo wins it just outside the circle. Well, Yu it was who won it.
And they're taking their time.
Jang coming up to take the hit, with Seo and Yu and Lee and O in the circle. And Bevan George.
He just powered it in, didn't he?
Yep. Naylor needs to carry it here.
Schubert's on.
Oh, that was the right idea. That was the right idea. Ockenden had made the lead.
Well, he had to fire it through the player's legs, and the angle just wasn't quite right. But as you say, it was a good idea. How he fired it quickly, just ahead of Eddie.
In terms of their world rankings and their recent form, this would be an upset. But you'd have to say that Korea have deserved everything they've got out of this game so far.
Well, I wouldn't say that they haven't dominated, but they took their one corner chance better than perhaps Australia did.
And frankly, in the second half, they've defended pretty well.
They've defended well, yeah. And they've done a bit more. Australia, once they got behind, have played with much more urgency. Been an even tussle. Certainly, Australia's performance hasn't been emphatic. I think it's accepted that Australia aren't at their sharpest and their best at the moment.
Here's Kang working towards the circle, dispossessed. Away come the Australians again. Ockenden. Back to his Butler. Schubert dispossessed. Comes back in for the second effort. Wunyo. Oh, I thought Ford took him clean there.
Yeah, it was a good tackle. It's bad luck. The umpire gave the free hit for the noise. Korea lucky to get out of that. They'll go for the big lob now. And that's where the umpiring does count, because Australia worked hard to get the ball there. And now the big lob.
That's awfully hard to trap, no matter how good you are, when it bounces just in front of you like that. Now, time has been... Well, the clock's been stopped because the Korean bench threw a second ball onto the pitch.
Absolutely. The Koreans threw the... Not in the spirit of the game, not a good idea at all. And I think we could see a player sanctioned because of that. They threw another ball back on just to delay the play.
Yeah,
we've seen a lot of that.
The captain has to take it, if anybody does. No card.
Well, he waved his finger at him, but perhaps there should have been a card, because we've seen a few instances already.
So just on 4 minutes remaining. Hopkins. Mark Knowles couldn't find its target. There's Kang. He's been very good tonight. Kang bursts towards the circle. Evan George just slaps it away with a flick of the wrist.
He was running fast, wasn't he? He's stiff and upright, but he moves quick.
Sio, the captain, will be happy just to hold it down here. No, works his way into the circle. Looks for the penalty corner. Gives one up. Pushed too hard.
And he did well to get in there. Barry Dancer would be disturbed. There's not much you can do from the bench. Players have to make a difference. Good play by Ford.
Equally good play by Jang.
He's pretty good, isn't he? Solid.
Got a little stick check from behind.
And of course, when you score the winning goal, you get confident.
What's he going to get? Another green card.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
When it restarts, there'll be 2 minutes 43 left on the clock. Still time for Australia to at least pull one back and draw level.
Well, you only need 10 seconds, yes. They can make another couple of chances in this time, if they're good enough. If they can get the ball.
Nam Lee wasn't 5 metres away from the ball.
And they're being naughty, and this will be yellow, no question.
Time stops again. This time he goes off.
Well,
this is all about delaying tactics for Korea. And Nam Lee then closed in on Bevan George as he received the overhead ball. Had to give him 5 metres. Didn't do so, got the yellow card, and was just staying within the 5 metres to try to delay the free hit.
Now they're replacing a forward with a defender, so they're just going to hold on to the lead.
Brent Livermore straight into the stick of Yeo. This is Yu battling with Eglinton, who wins the tussle. Good ball, Dwyer. Bursting through is Eglinton again, loose ball, Naylor. And he's hit Kim Chu.
He hit it after the whistle, I think. That's what the Koreans would be saying. We could have an incident here.
Well, I don't think the Australians speak a whole lot of Korean, so there won't be too many insults traded. There's the penalty corner, and yeah, how long after the whistle was it is the question. There's the whistle, there's the hit.
It was a nasty one, would have hurt, but it was accidental. I don't think there was anything else in there.
Umpire's calling for the trainer to come out.
Not sure what
Kim Chiu off the pitch.
Not sure what the whistle was for. Looked to me like it was just play on, and obviously that's what Naylor was thinking. But it was Eglinton who made the opportunity, and it's fascinating, isn't it? Only a couple of minutes, but Australia got to the circle once. They'll probably get there again before time's out.
So Kim Chiu, here it is again. Now the whistle's been blown at that stage. Not sure whether Eglinton stick checked somebody on the way through. There's no sanction on Naylor.
I think there was an obstruction. I think one of the players was held out. I think that's what it was for. But,
so we restart again. 2 minutes, 6 seconds left on the clock when the whistle goes.
I'll bet you that Korea go for the long one over the top. David, your house?
No, not putting my house on it.
Well, they'll trick us. They'll go.
There it goes.
Half volley, that's a hard one to trap. So Australia will get another go. They'll get another chance. Got the extra player. Got some urgency. Got a lot of purpose.
Knowles. Eglinton. Every Korean player behind the ball, as you'd expect. Hopkins.
And George perhaps should have gone down the middle there. There was a gap. Now there's a chance.
Whoa. That's a free hit against Aaron Hopkins.
He must have just raised it.
Tough being a coach with a minute to go, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there's not much Barry can do. And they're taking their time again, the Koreans. Crafty.
As you would.
Here it is again. It's 2 houses of one. 50 seconds. Still time for Australia. And they know that.
Knowles.
Have to execute.
Moore wins the free hit at the side.
Plenty of time. 30 seconds is easily enough. It's got to be movement up ahead.
And you need to have the ball.
18 seconds now. It's getting problematic.
They need to try to work a penalty corner and play up the penalty corner. And that won't help. Seo Yu will hold the ball till the end of this game.
Koreans know
there it is. Well, as I said, that's an upset in the context of the rankings. And after Korea were held to a draw by Spain, and Australia got up over Malaysia, although just by 2-0, I guess perhaps we shouldn't be surprised. The Koreans played with plenty of purpose, a very, very disciplined defence, and they took their chance when they got it. That chance came in the 55th minute at a penalty corner. They win this game by 1-0.
Well, Korea are happy. They're pleased. It was an even match. I don't think they did more than Australia. They probably made less chances, but they took the one that counted, and they defended very well. Australia perhaps guilty of not showing enough enterprise earlier on. Certainly when they became urgent near the end, they made plenty of chances, but the Koreans were equal to it. It was a tough match. It was a hard match. It was always going to be hard fought.
Australia now go ahead of Australia on the table after all teams have played 2 matches, so it's not
20.